fun bits and bobs. So I have this, which was a connector. Basically, just instead of crushing the tube, make a connector like this. And I was going to think about getting the CNC made just like this. These different angles that you can work with for the geometry, so anywhere from 15 to 10 to 5 degrees. I found that the 5 degrees work just fine. Here we have an early prototype of the chainstay or seat stay. This is the seat stay actually. And you could see here, like this would be the part, and then you put that on just like this, and then you get that angle that you need for the rear end. The problem with this is it's not giving me the right angles, and so what I had to do actually was a double bend to get that seat stay properly. Same thing with the bottom bracket. So you have a bottom bracket here, you know, here's another seat stay, kind of different angles. You can see how it goes down like that, which is cool. And then here's the bottom bracket. Again, this kind of works, but it just wasn't the right angle, and it's not the right diameter. It's really hard to clear the chain here, the chain line. But anyway, that's the bottom bracket, first edition. And then this would be for the kickstand. This printer prints really awesome, cool carbon fiber material, which I shouldn't have used for a mass model, but it's amazing. What a cool printer. I will not use it for this application, but just to save money on the prints for the company. But I'm thankful to have been able to use it. So it's such a cool printer, so fun. It prints really nice fidelity prints. Like, look at that finish, amazing. Anyway, those are the parts. Those are the reasons why. Let's talk about the dropouts for a second. Here's an example of another dropout. That's a modular dropout. You can remove it. And it has this indentation in it. And so I was wondering, how can I make this with a flat cut part? And I just did it this way, quite simply, by stacking. So I have that here, and then I'll just either weld these, or they'll be bolted together already from the frame bolting together. So why does the bike have this on the dropout? And the answer is, like, first off, it doesn't really necessarily need this outer bump, but it can't be flat like this. So like, if this was the inside of the dropout, it can't be flat. And the reason is that it needs to have this notch is because this actually sits on the hub body. So like the body of the hub, the end of the hub goes in here, and it takes the shear load of the bike versus the axle. So like, here's your through axle. There you go. Your axle is going through here. The axle is actually only providing compressive load. So you have this compressive load, you screw these together, and then that compresses the hub and holds the dropouts. But the shear load, the actual rest of the load, is going onto here, onto this notch, this inset, and that's sitting on the hub body. So I thought, oh, you know, I could just make a flat plate like this, you know, it'll just go through like that, but there's nothing for the hub to sit on here. And then actually the shear force would be all on the axle, which I didn't know that with through axles. I'm sure they could take some shear load, but I was like, okay, they're big, it must be holding all the load. That's why they're so chunky. But no, actually you can't do that. You can't make it flat. You need to have some sort of a surface for the hub body to take the shear load. So I don't know if I have this geometry correct. Like, is there a little bit of space in here? I don't know yet. I'll have to kind of mess around with that. But this outer ring doesn't really do anything. You know, maybe it's there to protect the head of the through axle. We'll see what happens. And then these are adjustable brake mounts, and these are where the frame goes in. And then here somewhere I have a small hole for the rack mount or the fender mount. We'll see what happens with that as well. I could always drill more holes or get this recut. Usually I do a couple rounds of cutting. I got one more part here to show off. So this is a custom template. So this is a custom kind of jig. You put the tube in here, it bottoms out. You can make sure that it's bottomed out here. And then I use this to drill. It's got like a little flange that goes down. And then that's gonna give me that consistent placement for this drill. So the idea of this bike would be to kind of open source it, and I could release these parts so someone could make this in their garage with a 3D printer. They do that, and then they drill it, and it gives them, you know, you put 2 of these blocks on, and then it gives you that perfect alignment.